Good morning, students. Class 9 English Reader, Book Moments, Chapter 3, Iswaran the Storyteller. In our previous video, we ended up reading that when Iswaran had a word that he was narrating a story about a ghost he has seen near the home, Mr. Mahendra got very angry and annoyed. He left the room and retired for the night, expecting Ishwan to sulk for a couple of days. He thought that if this way he moves out and won't pay attention to Ishwan's story, he would, get silent for a couple of days. But next morning, Mr. Mahendra was surprised to find Ishwan as cheerful and talkative as ever. From that day on, Mahendra, whenever he used to, go for his bed, it was a certain unease. Every night he looked outside his window in concentration into the darkness through the window to just find out, trying to make sure that there was no movement of dark shapes in the vicinity. यानी वो अपने आप को बिलीव कराना चाह रहे थे कि ऐसा कोई मूवमेंट नहीं है बाहर विंडो की तरफ, उन्हें ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, as Asian was talking about. But he could only see a sea of darkness with the twinkling lights of factory miles away. He had always liked to admire. हमेशा उन्हें अच्छा लगता था देखना बाहर की तरफ, विंडो से बाहर, to admire the milky white landscape on full moon night. But after hearing Ishwan's story of the female ghost, उन्होंने avoid किया विंडो से बाहर देखना. One night, Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moan close to his window. That means low sound. At first, he thought that it must be that a cat is running after a mice. But later, as the sound got, guttural, that means very harsh. So it feel that it was not a sound of a cat. He tried to, resist himself. अपने आप को बहुत रोकने की कोशिश की with the curiosity he had in mind to just look outside to see what it was actually. But as the sound grew more, the pain, but the wailing became louder. जो पेन था, crying pain सुनाई दे रहा था, that was getting louder, and it was like understood that it was less feline. Feline is a cat. तो यहाँ पे ईश्वरन समझ रहे हैं कि ये जो साउंड है वो कैट का नहीं है, it is something else. He could not resist the temptation any more, lowering himself to the level of the window. उन्होंने विंडो से झांकते हुए देखा कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं दिखाई दे रहा था उनको. He looked out at the white street of moonlight outside. There, not too far away, was a dark, cloudy form. He could just see a dark cloud, forming, clutching like a bundle. The tight सा कोई bundle हो clouds का. He just could see that. Mahendra got broken into a cold sweat. यानी डर के मारे वो कांपने लगे और तुरंत भागकर अपने बेड पे चले गए. अपने पिलो से अपने आप को कवर कर लिया. Panting. Panting means when we are breathing quickly and we are frightened. As he gradually recovered from the ghastly experience, जो experience उन्होंने किया था, frightening, horrible, he began to reason with himself and finally concluded that it must have been some sort of auto-suggestion, some trick that his subconscious had played on him. Anyhow, when after realizing after a few moments, he thought that it was nothing but just maybe, क्योंकि वो सुबह से इसके बारे में इतना सोच रहे हैं, तो ऐसा हो सकता है a kind of trick being played by his subconscious mind. Okay, तो शायद ये उनका वहम है, it's nothing in reality. By the time he had got up in the morning, he had a bath and came out to have his breakfast. The horror of the previous night had faded from his memory. यानी रात की जो बात थी शायद उनकी मेमोरी से धीरे धीरे जा रही थी. Okay, he was forgetting about it. बट तभी ईश्वर ने उनको ग्रीट किया गेट के ऊपर विथ हिज लंच पैकेट एंड बैग और कहा, जस्ट एज महेंद्र वॉज अबाउट टू स्टेप आउट ही ग्राइंड, ना बहुत बड़ी सी स्माइल से ईश्वर ने कहा, सर आपको याद है द अदर डे व्हेन आई वाज टेलिंग यू अबाउट द फीमेल घोस्ट विद द फीटस इन इट्स आर्म्स, यू वर सो एंग्री विथ मी. आप बहुत गुस्सा हुए थे, आपने मुझसे कहा ये सब कुछ इमेजिनेशन में होता है, नथिंग इज इन रियल. वेल, कल आपने रात खुद ही उसे देख लिया ना. मैं रात को दौड़ते हुए आपके रूम की तरफ आया था और मैंने जो क्राइंग साउंड्स थे, यानी आप डर गए थे, मुझे समझ में आ रहा था. आई कुड हियर इट फ्रॉम योर रूम. अ चिल वेंट डाउन महेंद्र स्पाइन. ये सुनकर महेंद्र शॉक हो गए कि कहीं ना कहीं रात को वो अपने आप को समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. एंड ही डिडंट थिंक ओवर. उनको ऐसा कभी लगा भी नहीं कि रात को जो इंसिडेंट हुआ उनके साथ, ही गॉट फ्राइटेंड विद दैट हॉरिफाइंग सीन, it would be known to Ishwaran. But as Ishwaran said, It was, like he got chilled out. He was like speechless, no, nothing to say. He did not wait for Ishwan to complete his sentence. He hurried away to his office and handed in his papers, resolving to leave the haunted place the very next day. As he moved towards his office, जो सबसे पहला काम उन्होंने किया, that he sorted out a way to resolve the problem. यानी ये जो haunted place है उसे छोड़ने का decision उन्होंने ले लिया. So he decided, and very next day they left this place. Interesting story. Go through it. If you have any queries regarding the content and explanation, let me know in the feedback in our WhatsApp group. Till then, thank you, class.